Welcome to the video. Should be a light shooting here. Get these from locker.com. Locker, L-O-K-K-A. Good, it's a bit cold here in Adelaide, Australia. It's getting that time of year. Had a running race this morning. Got first place, ran a 17:24. And I haven't been able to train for many months due to concussion. This morning was a good morning. Woke up, didn't really feel that concussed. Shoulder pain was a bit less, so before I go out and have a crack. But my nerve pain in my leg, I can feel it now though, so it's yeah, I'm in a bit of pain right now. But we'll shift the focus. One good thing to remember is giving pain a voice is just a choice in the moment, right? And there's sometimes where you have to give pain a voice. Like with concussion, you know, I listen to my body. Some days I can work, some days I can't. Most days I can't. Some days I can ride, some days I can't. Most days I can't. So if my body's saying, you know, if I'm a bit dizzy or nauseous or have a sharp headache, then I just relax, rest, put my eye covers on, chill. If I wake up, clear head, or, you know, it's okay, then I'll go a bit. So you got to, there's a time and place when you give pain a voice, and there's a time and place when you don't. And as you experience and mature as an athlete, and everybody's an athlete, if you sweat, you're an athlete. If you walk up a flight of stairs and you breathe and you're huffing and puffing, you're an athlete. We live in a society where it says, if you sweat, there's something wrong with you. Don't let your work colleagues see you sweating. Oh, you're huffing and puffing, you're out of breath. Oh my God, that's embarrassing. Meanwhile, you know, elite athletes out there dripping buckets of sweat per hour and they're breathing like goldfish, gasping for air. All right, so that's what you got to do. If you want to get an athlete physique, then you got to breathe and you got to sweat. Simple as that. And I don't mean hyperventilating in the corner of the sauna. I mean getting out there in the fresh air, moving your body. Cycling's about where it's at. All right, so here's the question. Here's a question, 2 minutes in. Correct me if I'm wrong, Durianrider. This is on Instagram. If someone works for their whole life to accumulate wealth, and once he's reached his goal, starts preaching about how much money you can spend and still be fine, but doesn't talk about all the hard work you put in, isn't that deceiving to others? Potentially. Where's the context? Like someone else who doesn't have the work ethic might assume. He has so much money because he's spending so much. Isn't that what you're doing when you tell people to smash carbs and refined sugar when you can, because you have the fitness? So basically the context of this question is, and it's a fair question, let's talk about nutritional one as the best example there, because money is different. You can win the lottery today and be a billionaire. All right? You can't wake up tomorrow and be elite level fitness like me, super low body fat, you know, smashing 20-year-olds, etc., you know, in the bed or at park run or up the hills or whatever. So money, let's take the money one out, because you can Bitcoin, Corona, gold, you know, YouTube, it can be a millionaire in a year with certain things, and right investments, bit of luck, bit of gambling. So let's forget about the money analogy because there's too much variables. Now let's talk about body composition. Let's talk about fitness levels, because fitness levels you have to earn. You can't just wake up and go, you know, I ran 17:24 today. Next weekend I want to run a 14:18 and beat that vegan runner Riley Cox. You know, it's not going to happen. You know, that's not going to happen. The chances of me running 14:18 are pretty much zero. You know, zero. One, I'd have to dedicate my life to running, which I'm not prepared to do. And even then, maybe I might crack under 15, maybe. All right. So, but I'm not prepared to do that, and that's not me, because it takes a lot of work. So that's something like fitness takes work. So how are you going to get fit? All right. Let's say I'm 200 pounds. Let's say I'm 400 pounds. When I walk down the street, my ideal weight should be maybe 150 to 180. So I'm carrying extra, say, 220 pounds on my back, around my legs, around my face, around my neck. And so I'm walking down the street with that extra 220 pounds. And now someone's going to go, hey, Joe Rogan on the podcast says, don't eat any carbohydrates until you go weight. So just starve yourself down. Try and starve off 220 pounds. Do intermittent fasting. Dr. Fung is also overweight. And Joe Rogan's overweight. And he's constantly yo-yoing his weight. But listen to these guys, because these guys have a bit of social narrative going on. So you can listen to all that chitter, the people taking steroids and lying about it and look, I'm shredded. What's that Thomas DeLauer guy, whatever, like, you know, this dude's an anabolic junkie. That's not usage, that's abuse. He's like got lumps in his stomach from human growth hormone daily usage for years. Little lumps, look like little maggot things. And that's totally fine, it's a personal choice, but if you're going to lie about it and say, hey guys, I don't take any drugs, I'm swole and lean, at the same time, which is like metabolically impossible. It's easy to be swole and coated, and it's easy to be lean, but smaller. But to have the leanness and the size, that's just anabolic abuse, in my opinion and my experience in medical. That's just how it is. You can't be big and ripped unless you're abusing anabolics. Not just using, abusing. All right? Simple as that. So you can take advice from those people who are misleading you, etc. Or you can take advice from people like myself or billions of lean, carb-eating Asians, Africans, and Indians. You can just go to their village and just go on YouTube and just type in, traditional meals in the markets and just look what lean people eat. Go to Asia, go to Africa, go to the slums. I've done that. All right? And you see what people eat. Get an obese boyfriend or an obese girlfriend, watch what they eat. Spend 24 hours a day with them for a month and see what patterns they do. Oh, I can't have too many carbs. I need more fat. Or they're taking certain medications, clozapine, etc., that make you just gain all this weight. And then date someone who's really lean. Maybe they're a cigarette smoker, coffee drinker, calorie restrictor, or maybe they're following the Durianrider protocol for many years, and they're just like eating all your rice and sugar and fruit. And you're like, hey, give me some of those figs and rice and stop drinking all my sugar water. So, itchy nose and the cat fur. My cat allergy has gotten so much better. Still there a little bit. Or it could be corona. Anyone can catch coronavirus. All right, it's like malaria. Anyone can catch it, but whether or not it wipes you out, that's based on your immune system. Someone's like, how can I avoid catching corona? You're going to get it, man. You're going to get corona, most likely. It's like malaria. You're going to get bitten by a malaria mosquito if you go to Asia. You're going to. Whether or not you get whacked out by the malaria because your immune system's so weak, because you're dehydrated, you're undercarb, your thyroid levels are up, your cortisol levels are up because you're stressing out, you don't eat much carbs, carbs are bad, sugar's bad, I'll follow Dr. Greger, and you follow that stuff, keto, whatever, then yeah, you're more chance of getting corona badly versus getting corona, having a fever for a day or two, maybe being in bed for a week, and then you're back to normal versus on a respirator in hospital on life support. That's based on your immune system, and your immune system's based on your sugar intake. If you've got enough sugar, then your T cells, your glucose-induced phagocytosis can get to work and gobble up all the bad stuff and keep your immune system healthy. But if you don't have enough carbs, sugars, then you're going to have some issues there. Anyway, so how are you going to get healthy without sugar? How are you going to get fit without sugar? All right? How are you going to do that? People like, now I repeat myself over and over and over. I'm aged 42, 43 in a few months. In August 23rd, 1977 I was born. And I have this discussion every minute of the day if I want. I can go onto social media pages. Oh, but Harley. And it's like, hey, you can listen to the bullshit artists or the people who are confused. You can follow them. You can follow the people who want to scam you. You go to TikTok or whatever. It's just all these fake natty guys who are abusing steroids. And they're lying about their diet. They say, I'm doing keto. So I've got this physique on keto. Just eat meat. And it's like, mate, you're injecting at least 500 milligrams to a gram a week of testosterone, and you're eating a lot of carbs. The people who have never used steroids don't understand what I'm on about. They're like, no, he's just keto, man, it's keto. Dr. Atkins was keto. He never touched steroids, and he looked like a bacon roll. Same with my friend Jimmy Moore. He's never used steroids, and he's done keto for almost 2 decades, and he looks like a bacon roll, all right, without the bread, just the packet of bacon. And, so I look like the hot dog roll. My mate Jimmy Moore looks like the bacon leg on legs. And that's just, you are what you eat. You eat skinny bananas, you look like a banana. You're eating a cow, you can look like a cow. And look at people, go to the supermarket. People pushing trolleys around. They look like big cows, big heifers and big bulls, big walrus seal neck. And that doesn't make them bad people. I'm just saying, if you want the results, don't eat a cow. Don't eat a pig. If you don't want to have a pig face, you go to some countries where there's a lot of pork. You see them, and they've got this pig head, pig-headed. From that pig rotting in your gut, makes you all la la la. And coronavirus is getting spread by all this, these animal farms and markets where you have all these thousands of ducks or geese or pigs in these environment, and they're all stressed out. They smell the slaughterhouse vibe, and their adrenaline's up, their cortisol's up, their immune system's down. So these viruses coming in, just boom. This is just the start of things to come, unfortunately. What a great place to bring children into the world. So that you have these people that are saying, Hal, you can't eat too much carbs. It's okay for you, Hal. You're an athlete. You've got work ethic. You're not a lazy motherfucker. I am pretty lazy, man. I'm like any human. I want to conserve energy. Seek pleasure, avoid pain, and conserve energy. And so if you don't have enough carbohydrates, then where's your control? How are you going to steer the wheel in life? How are you going to pay attention behind the wheel? You're driving the car, driving your RX-7 Series 3, 20B twin turb. You're cruising along. If you don't have enough fuel in the tank, not going anywhere. You got to keep the fuel in if you want to keep on the path in life, man. Well, I'm just going to fast my weight loss off. So you go and do that, bro. And when you're broken down that desert of desperation and depression, then you'd be calling me up and say, Howie, send me some carbs. My serotonin's too low. Carbs raise serotonin. Carbs raise dopamine. People want to fight that. Oh no, sugar's like cocaine. It increases dopamine, increases serotonin. I want to feel depressed. I want to feel lethargic. I want to feel craving all the time. And I want to be just like constantly thinking about food, because carbs are bad, refined sugar's bad. I read the book Mastering Diabetes, and it says sugar versus diabetes by Dr. Kepner, but in the book it says sugar's bad. It's like, oh my God. Oh my God. Do you ever wonder why these people won't do a live debate with me? All right? It's not because I'm a bad guy. It's because they don't want to, they don't want to be publicly, not exposed, but like a debate. Like I'll debate anybody out there. If you got a podcast, invite me on. If you think I'm full of bullshit, invite me on the podcast. Rip into me. You're trying to debunk me point by point. Anybody, I will debate. Anybody, because I'm not afraid to. Hey, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'm not wrong in this. But if someone can prove me wrong, I'm like, man, I love to learn. But the thousands of people I've coached, the fitness I have now versus fitness I had when I was 18, it's undeniable. It's undeniable, all right? It's undeniable. This carbohydrate, unlimited calories, it works. And I'm eating unlimited calories. Look at my Strava. Hardly trained since mid-January. Hardly trained. I haven't been able to because of concussion and injuries. So, it's, I've been eating unlimited calories, man. Carb calories. Unlimited. I've increased my fat intake a bit just because they've got these new ice creams that came out. These taste really good. And just, I love trying out new vegan products. And I've been eating these things called the Rebel Whoppers, which is a Hungry Jack's burger. They're just great. And I just want to support that and put it on my story and stuff like that. And they're very, very tasty. So I'm eating a bit more fat. And I've put on a bit more body fat. And that's fine. That's not an issue at all. But I'm still eating unlimited sugars. Right? If I want my sweet, I have my sweet. What I do notice though is I want a lot less calories, the carb calories overall. A lot less, because I'm not doing as much. I'm not working as much. I can't really work as much as normal. And Natasha's been helping me out with that. So my output's a lot less. And so my input has gone down on its own accord, on its own terms. If you want to be in control of a cat, right, if you ever adopted a cat or a feral cat, or even a dog, and you go and chase the cat or dog down, it's like, give me a cuddle, and you're aggressive, and you're like, come on, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? And that isn't the kind of work. You got to lure the dog with a bit of food, throw it over, then come in day by day. You say, hey, little doggy, little pussy cat, and then give a bit of, when it's close, you give it a bit of a touch, and it's all, and that takes a few weeks or maybe a few months. And you can't just grab onto it, and that's what people do when they try and lose weight. They're just like grabbing onto it. I'm going to just deny my hunger. It's like, man, you let your hunger be its thing. Your hunger will tell you, if you're hungry, then you should be eating some carbs right now. Never be hungry. I'm never hungry. To be hungry is to lose performance. Because then you start thinking about food and you're not really present. Someone's talking to you like, oh, I'm so hungry. I need some food right now. Someone's talking to you. Well, you got to fix something. You're like, come on, just get this done. I'm so hungry. I got to get to eat. And then come back to what you got to do. Huh? Never be hungry, ever. And people think hungry is like, good, I'm hungry. It means I'm burning fat. All you're doing when you're hungry is you're elevating your TSH, your thyroid stimulating hormone. You're elevating your cortisol. Right? This is science, man. When you're hungry, when you fast, intermittent fast or whatever, you lower your T3 and you lower your T4. and that increases your TSH, your thyroid stimulating hormone. And then your pituitary gland has to secrete more TSH because your hypothalamus is going, hang on, we haven't got enough T3, T4 because this doofus is carb restricting again. So the TSH goes up, and your metabolism goes down because you're in starvation mode, and your metabolism doesn't go up when you're in starvation. Your body's like, okay, we're fight or flight here. Let's, any calories we get from now on, let's boost the cortisol up, have that cortisol shuttle and partition those calories into fat, visceral fat, abdominal fat, because that's the best place to have fat is around the gut if you're a human, because it's your center of weight's better, all right? And so if you're in the jungle, you have this skinny arms and skinny legs. We have this gut, this bulbous gut, which is, biologically speaking, fantastic. It's fantastic because if you've got weight on your arms, it's hard to run down the street with weights in your arms. It's very hard. If you've got a tie around your belly, like most people who do water restriction or water fasting or intermittent fasting do over time, then that's good because it's easy to run like that in nature. So if you've got to run from the jungle, tiger who sees your little tie belly and thinks, oh, that's a bit of tasty human snack, I'll go and eat that. So that's just how we're designed. And people, I see these people every day. I see people at the running race this morning. Every bike race or event, you see people that spare tire. You know, I know how you got that. You carb restricted and your TSH went up, your cortisol went up, your metabolism went down, and your body starts storing weight around your gut first. And then if you keep going, it starts storing it on your face and your neck and your bum and everywhere else. And that's just how it is. That's just how it is. So we've got to look after the thyroid hormone. So when you go, well, I want more carbs, but I haven't done any exercise today. I'm not an athlete. I've got to deny my hunger. Let me pop a phentermine pill. Let me brush my teeth. Let me distract myself, call a friend. Let me drink some coffee. Let me take a stimulant so I can deny my hunger. You lose a bit of weight, but all you're doing is you're increasing the TSH level. All right? Every time. That day, you keep doing that day, it's that week, that's month, and then before you know it, you've got Hashimoto's disease. When then you have to take T4 thyroxine, levothyroxine medication for life, 25 milligram, 50 or 100 every day the rest of your life, you know, to function. Because when your T3 and T4s are low and your TSH is up, aka Hashimoto's hypothyroid, you're just like, oh man, I'm just like, no energy, give me a coffee. So if you start needing coffee just to get out of bed, then you know your thyroid's had a bit of a hit because you restricted your carbs. Because you listen to Dr. Greger, 4 cups of coffee a day, don't eat too much carbs. Bit of brown rice is okay, eat mostly vegetables. High nutrient density, eat that. Sugar's bad. Fruit's okay if you're an athlete. That Greger voice he does, it's like, oh man. Donate to me, I'm a multi-millionaire. Keep the donations coming. Donate to my non-profit charity. That's in my name and I draw income from that. But donate to it. All proceeds donated to charity. My charity. Imagine if I did that. People would be like onto it straight away. Like, Durianrider's got a charity in his name. I don't know how Dr. Greger gets the pass. Maybe because he's wearing a doctor's outfit. He's not even a real doctor in terms of he's never actually practiced a day in his life as a doctor, yet he wears the stethoscope and the jacket and his marketing material's like, hey, I'm Dr. Greger. Studied as a doctor, never actually worked as one. Wears the doctor's outfit. That's a bit like, being employed by Team Sky as a coach and wearing the Team Sky kit like you just finished the Tour de France. Yeah. Anyway, so that's what happens is I see it on the vegan forums all the time, these whole food forums. I've got no energy, my thyroid's up, my testosterone's low, my cortisol's elevated, I'm storing fat in my belly, what should I do? At the start, they're like, I'm losing weight, I feel great. But then over time, they start to go, yeah, well, I need more food, and they say, eat more food, and the weight comes on. They're like, oh, I've got to do water fast, I've got to do intermittent fasting, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. And then they're listening to these people who don't give a flying F about them, just cashing in on the orthorexia, cashing in on the fake natty scene, guys like Athlete X and stuff. At least Athlete X doesn't promote carb restriction, that's one good credit to him. But all these people taking all these steroids, which is fine, but they're lying about it. And so all these noobs going, one day I'm going to look like Athlete X, just hard work and Athlete X BCAAs and all this stuff. And one day I'll look like Thomas DeLauer or whatever his name is. And if I just cut the carbs. And it's like, well, Bruce Lee was lean, living on the rice. And go to Asia. Just go to YouTube and type in China market in the country. You see all these lean Asians living on rice and stuff. Same in Africa, Kenya, etc. And you'll see fat people, when they've got more money, they buy more meat, because meat's a status food, and oil and fancy foods, processed oily foods, versus processed low-fat foods like I eat, and it keeps you lean. And Natasha and all the people I coach and girlfriends over the years, always lean. Processed, high-carb foods for the win. Vegan for the win. Oily foods, whole foods or processed foods, the fat cheats, the fat you wear. If you want to slow your thyroid down, eat more fat. And if you want to, you can disagree with me, but you're still going to be wrong. Like, if you like me or not, it doesn't matter. What matters is if you put this to practice. And if you don't, you just suffer the consequences of your thyroid. You suffer the depression, you suffer the low serotonin, the low dopamine, the high cortisol, and all the effects of that. If someone's in a relationship with you, they suffer because you're just a nut job to be around. Maybe you'd be happy when you have your caffeine or your happy pills, but then that wears off, reality kicks in, and you have thyroid elevation and cortisol high, that mood rubs off on people around you, and then maybe you meet some quality people who know what's going on, and they're like, that person's got thyroid issues, they're not going to do anything about it, this is going to be a roller coaster to be their friend or to be their lover or partner or whatever. It's going to be a roller coaster, and I'm just going to exit stage left over here and see on Facebook, you know? And that's the reality. So I don't know why people want to live a low quality life like that. Constantly like, well, I can't have refined sugar. I didn't run a marathon today. I can't have white rice because Dr. Greger says bad. I can't have too much fruit. I can't have fruit smoothies because Dr. Esselstyn says fruit smoothies gives you heart disease. What the? Fruit smoothies give you heart disease. Esselstyn. Who, like, what? You know, just like the confusion and the nonsense out there. You know, it's insane. Just because people think, why they think this? Elevated blood sugar increases from insulin resistance. So you eat too much fat, it coats insulin receptor sites, your blood sugar stays up. It goes up and stays up. And that's called insulin resistance. Now you have all the excess insulin, which is inflammatory anabolic hormone, and that's causing damage to your endothelium cells of your cells, etc., of your arteries and veins and all that stuff. You know, the walls, the endothelium walls get attacked from all this extra insulin and stuff like that. So, and they get extra proteins, amino acids. So too much protein sitting in your blood, it's acidic, fatty acids. So you have a lot of this fat in your bloodstream, damaging arterial health, damaging endothelium cells. And so people go, oh, the blood sugar's high, it must be the sugar causing this. Oh, well, fruit is processed sugar. It's got a lot of sugar in it. You know, people aren't questioning the fat, really. Some people do, but then they contradict themselves by saying sugar's a problem. And so these people with insulin resistance always have a lot of fat in the blood. That's what causes insulin resistance. And what is fat? Fatty acids. What is carbohydrate? Is it acids? No. It's carbohydrate. It's water. Carbohydrate. Fatty acids. Amino acids versus carbohydrate. What sounds better, hydrate or acids? Think about that. You know, I'm not a molecular scientist. I'm just a basic guy who understands how the body works. Right? And every molecular scientist or biologist, whatever you want to call them, will go, yeah, you know, that Durianrider guy's right. It's just very simple. But we can't really say that because you'll get unfollowed on Instagram if you say sugar's good, or sugar's fine, or rice is good, or fruit's good. So, you know, you even got those guys like Dr. McDougall who says too much fruit is bad. You know, like, what the... I even wrote to McDougall one time and said, McDougall, have you ever hanged out with those fruitarians? They're really skinny. They just live on fruit. He said, yeah, I've met a few of them. And I'm like, so why are you saying people are obese on fruit? Or fruit would inhibit weight loss? And he said, oh, yeah, I don't know. I said, do you think there's so many people that cheat on the diets? He said, yeah, that could be a possibility. I said, yeah, well, I've met a lot of them, you know. I met one girl, she was 15 or 16. She was 95 kilos, claiming she just lived on rice, fruit, sugar, and jam. And she was in Thailand, and people like use her as like haters use her as like, well, Harley, if your advice works, how come this girl's not like your girlfriend? I'm like, well, one, she's on some hardcore antidepressant medication, which causes massive weight gain. And there's some people out there that says, that's not true. Antidepressant medication can't cause weight gain. Ask any doctor. Go to any mental health ward, and you'll see people just like zoned out, big weight from the lithium, the clozapine, or whatever. And that's what it is. That is what it is. So people just don't understand. And then they try to disagree with me. And it's like, dude, have you ever used steroids? Have you ever been around someone who's on these drugs or like the SSRI stuff? Have you, you know, like, I was introduced to those in steroids 96, antidepressants in 95 when I had a friend take them, and he put on like 30 kilos, you know, just retention and blubber. And he was just zonked out. He was just zonked out. I was like, well, what's going on here, you know, in such a short time. And it was, yeah. So I've had exposure for these things for over 2 decades. You know? And exposure at a personal level where seeing people around them that I've known, grown up with, take these things and go, wow, the changes, you know. And so that's where my experience comes from. So if you're going to live that lifestyle of like carbs are bad, sugar's bad, then man, you are failing at life, right? You are failing metabolically at life. You're going to fail in your head. You're going to be constantly depressed, and your girlfriend or your boyfriend's going to go, oh my God, like, when's this person going to get it together? When's the better option come along? All right, I'll stay with you for the meantime, but where's the, they'll be hugging you, be like looking over the shoulder, oh, she's single. He's all right. Oh, he looks alpha. Oh, she looks like she could get it pretty good. You know, and that's what's happening. That's just human nature, man. It's like if you've got a hat, if this peak of the hat keeps like flopping in my face, you're going to get rid of the hat. So if you keep flopping, oh, I can't eat too much carbohydrates because Durianrider's really crazy. Go listen to the doctors. They're not getting any results really at all, but they're just following social narrative in the big community for approval. It's book sales. Then you're really floppy. Durianrider's evil. Durianrider's bad. I'm going to follow Buddy Rebecca on that. And you get their results, man. You're flopping around. Simple as that. But yeah, sugar's this ultimate pariah. You know, like, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Sugar, you know? It's almost like you could walk down the street now and have a bag of sugar. People would be like, you know, really like, what is he doing, man? He's got sugar. Watch him. Really, that's what's going on. You got, even in the Tour de France commentary last year, there was a cyclist, maybe it was Jens Voigt or someone, there was a cyclist taking a gel, sugar gel, refined sugar, a gel, keeping his carbs up, squeezing his mouth, and I think Jens Voigt, someone said, oh, he's taking his nutrition in. I was like, what? And he kept using the word nutrition. Yeah, nutrition's very important. You've got to keep enough nutrition going on. I was like, what? Wow. Used to be, he's having his sugar gel. Keep the carbs up, keep the muscle glycogen full, keep that glucose-derived ATP firing. Yeah, but can't even use the word sugar now in commentary. It's such a social pariah. It's insane. Insane. Oh, yeah, I have sugar on rest days, but otherwise, no sugar. It's like, come on, man. How you pushing 400 watts in training if you've got no sugar in your system? Like, duh. But the average person's like, no, see, Harley, you're wrong. They said this. And I'm like, okay, man. Now I understand why you got no results, and you never get results because you listen to people who are lying to you or telling and selling you a half-truth or a full lie, you know? Just like if you want to get to my wardrobe, it's just over there, you know? Just there. Some people go, no, it's too simple. You've got to go, you know, got to go to Peru. Got to go to Argentina. And then you've got to swim across the Atlantic and then, you know, paddle down the Pacific and then you get to the wardrobe. Cool, man. Your life, your choices. But it does frustrate me a little bit hearing people, carbs are bad, Harley. Dr. Greger says, Dr. McDougall says, Dr. Esselstyn says, Dr. Bernard says, Martian Diabetes says. All those people got approval for all of them. Just saying. They say some good things, but they also cowered down to the social pariah of refined sugar and unlimited carbs. People out there don't want to hear that. It gets people like, no, like unlimited carbs is bad. People want to torture themselves. Like, not many people have self-love. Not many people really like themselves. Not many people really think they deserve a good life of happiness. And so that's the, you know, because I'm thinking, why don't people want to do this? You know, why is it such a minority? Because most people hate themselves, man. Because we live in a society where you have touched up billboards or whatever, or, you know, even filters on a camera, you know. People are like, oh, okay. It's like, so it's just the world we live in. It's just like, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. If you look a certain way, you can have the best information out there. But if you look a certain way or say a certain swear word, mention sugar in a positive light, people are, ooh. People are dumb, man. Most people are very, very dumb. They're smart and academic. They can create a computer. They can create a massive company. They can create billions and millions of dollars in the bank. But most of them can't even understand how sugar works in the body. Insulin resistance. Go and do some homework on insulin resistance. Read some of the studies on Mastering Diabetes website. There's some more videos about it. Insulin resistance is a big one. Too much fat from any source. Olive oil, bacon, lard, grass-fed butter, avocados, nuts and seeds. Fat is fat when it creates insulin resistance. If it's saturated, monounsaturated, polyunsaturated, too much omega-3, whatever. It's going to cause insulin resistance in everybody, you know, even me, whatever. If you do more sport, you can eat more fat because your body clears that insulin, that fat a lot quicker. Your blood's moving around quicker. But if you're not doing any sport, you want to keep your fat intake real low. Carbs high. Now, carbs is anything. Carbs is rice. It's sugar. It's fruit. It's white rice. It's brown rice. It's quinoa. It's millet, oats, potatoes, corn. Fruit. Sweet fruits. Of which are thousands of types out there. And it's carbohydrates like fructose, glucose, and sucrose. Those are the most common three. Rice, glucose. Fruit is sucrose. Sucrose is glucose and fructose. Cane is sucrose. Fruit is sucrose. All right? So again, cane is sucrose. Fruit is sucrose. Sucrose is 50 glucose, 50 fructose. Rice, glucose. Maltodextrin, glucose. You know, complex carbs are good. Complex carbs just have more glucose. Chains, longer chains of glucose that your body splices up and is absorbed as glucose, as sugar. All right? So it's just all sugar. People say, no, refined sugar doesn't have nutrients and minerals in it. And it's like, yeah, but it's still sugar. All right? You can add all the minerals and vitamins you want to fat. It's still going to give you insulin resistance. All right? Simple as that. You can have, oh, I'm having a nutritionist diet. Look at this. Look how much nutrition's in butter and eggs and meat. There's a lot of nutrition in these things. But look what they do to your body. It's not about how much minerals and vitamins and protein you get. It's like, where does it come from? All right? So if you're eating all this meat, you get all this nutrition. But look at all these people in Walmart. Look how much nutrition they're getting from their meat. You know? Look at these. But they're like obese and sick and got heart disease and all these issues going on. So it's not, oh, you don't get enough nutrition from sugar. It's like, you need sugar. Rice, fruit, sugar. Get it in. Simple as that. Or you just pay the consequences. Pay the consequences. And I love when people say, I love it when you get these people, oh, but avocados are okay because avocados have fiber and nutrition. They don't cause insulin resistance. They do. They do. They do. 100%. You can test it yourself. If you've got any in touch with your body, you can test what insulin resistance is. You get the feeling what that is. If you're a cyclist, you'll learn that quicker. If you're a type 1 diabetic, you'll know it very quickly what insulin resistance feels like. And especially if you're not using any stimulants, you'll feel insulin resistance really quick because when you're on stims, you're like, you can't really feel your body, you know? That's why people use stims because they want to feel how they feel. I feel shit. Give me a pill. Give me a coffee. You know, I don't know how I feel. So by not using stimulants for many months or years, you learn how your body should feel. And then you can go, oh, you know what? This is different. Most people aren't sober a day in their life. I've got a cat allergy. It's very, very minimal now. But I could take pills for it and all this stuff. Or I could let my body build up resistance over time, which I've done. Took a little bit of prednisone last year when I hardly could breathe. But, you know, very, very minimal amounts, only for the day, and just did my best to, you know, keep my lymphatic system going. Because I have respect for my body and I like to understand how it works. But what people are doing is they're just taking all their meds blindly and they're going, well, doctor said, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, okay, cool, that's what your doctor said, but why don't you get some second opinions? Why don't you do some homework? Why don't you do some experimentation? Why don't you test your blood glucose levels? Test your fasting insulin. Test your hemoglobin A1C. Test your power for 5 minutes on the bike. Test this, boom, boom, boom. Do some tests of yourself and just pay attention. Be sober when you do it so you can really feel what's going on. And that's what we've been doing the last 20 years, coaching thousands of people. All right, anyway, that's the vid. Doesn't matter your fitness level, all right? You need to eat unlimited carbohydrates. You need to eat unlimited sugar, refined sugar. If your body wants something sweet, give it the fruit. If you want extra sweet, put the sugar in the fruit. If you can have fruit and be totally satisfied sweet, okay, cool. You're one of those very rare people who don't have much calorie needs. But if you have your fruit and you're like, oh man, I had 10 bananas, but I'm still needing more food, then you need more food. That's why I add 200-300 grams of sugar to 10 banana smoothie, and that's like, you know, what's that? 14, 15, 2,000 calories for a meal. And you're just done. You can focus so much better. Maybe have a little nap if you need to, and then come back to it. You're not even thinking about food because you're like, you're done. It's like busting to go pee, or really tired, just like falling asleep. You know, you ever been at work or wherever? You had a late night, you've been out all night, or banging all night, or riding all night, or whatever. Riding your bike or riding someone all night, and you go to work next day, you had an hour's sleep, and you turn up and your colleague's like, oh, you're right, mate, you're a little bit la-la land. I've been so tired at work. I remember falling asleep in front of a customer. It was back in, I think it was 2004. I was working at Bicycle Express in the city of Adelaide, and I was in the shoe department. And in the corner of the store, there's no other staff around. I remember just walking over there, just like, I was closing my eyes, and opening every few seconds, you know, just something bump into something. But I was just trying to close my eyes. I was so tired and heavy, and I'm walking around. This person's asking me about shoes. Oh, it's good. I can sleep while I'm serving someone. You know, that's how tired I was. I'm just like, closing my eyes. I'm just like, yeah, just don't mind me. My eyes are a bit sore. I'm just going to close them for a minute. And I remember just like laying my head on the box, and the person's trying on shoes, and I'm trying to, you know, make sure they're getting their needs met. And I remember just like sort of falling asleep on the box, and they're like, "You all right, mate?" And I said, "Yeah." And he's like, "Yeah, late night." I said, "Yeah." You know, so they were understanding, but I remember just that's how tired I was. I was at work, couldn't even like. I wasn't going to use some caffeine. That's the worst thing you do, because that's when you dig a big hole of fatigue. And so that was a really good experiment. Just like, wow, like if you're tired, you can't focus. You know, even when you have to focus. You know, you're at work. You're paid to do a job, a good job. And I love selling product at the bike shop, but I couldn't. I was so tired. So when you're hungry, man, you need the carbs. You need the sugar. You know, but people say, "Oh, hang on, you only had 1 hour sleep. That's okay. Like, you don't need to sleep. Come on, get back to work. Get back to work." And it's like, well, you can try and do that, but you're going to be fighting your body. Drink some coffee. Stay awake. Yeah, but you're going to crash later on. You're hungry. You don't need carbs. You're fat. You're going to just take a pill. Don't deny your appetite. Put some music on. Brush your teeth. Talk to a friend. Blah, 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 blah. Drink a coffee and more coffee. And you can do that, but the hunger's still there. You haven't erased the hunger by giving you nutritional carbohydrate needs met. So it's going to be coming back for you. Your sleep's going to come back for you. Sleep deprivation. All right. So we live in a society where it's like, you know, you eat carbs, you're bad. You sleep, you're bad. You know, go. Starve. Drink. Coffee. Pill. Depression. You know what I mean? That's the reality we live in. More people today will die from suicide than corona. How much attention does suicide get? Or the cause of suicide. But corona, man. Corona's shutting down the world right now. Imagine if we put all that effort that corona's getting into heart disease awareness, insulin resistance awareness about too much fat, gang violence, drug violence, street violence, domestic violence, etc. You know, we put that money in increasing penalties, making jails bigger, or bringing back the death sentence ideally. Imagine how magical we could clean this world up. Get rid of all the scumbags, get rid of all the bad food products, the fats, the animals' nastiness, the oils, etc. And we could just change this whole world. That's not going to happen though, because that's too much logic, and we live in an illogical world where confusion makes money and keeps people in power, and that's the human ego, and I get that. I'm just saying, that's the solution. Take it or leave it. Live a magic life where you're carved up, where you have participation in your daily reality, or be a victim of circumstance, a victim of, you know, social narrative, a victim of your own negative self-narrative, where your dad or your mum said you're useless, you're hopeless, you've been in it, and you believe that or whatever, or they were just having an undercard moment and they were beating you or slapping you or kicking you out or whatever. It's just people just do stuff, you know, like being a parent's hard. Don't take it out on your parents by living a bad life, and don't have resentment towards them. Shit happens to people. Doesn't mean you have to forget it or forgive it, but it just means you have to go, that was the past, now's now. I can live in the past, bring that to the now and suffer, or I can just go, yeah, it's back in the day. Well, that was last week, last night, or whatever. That person's out of my life, and then this is now. That's just a choice in the moment. Right? Reliving old bad thoughts or whatever, just a choice in the moment. Being positive and getting shit done around you, choice in the moment. Being a victim or a victor is just a choice in the moment. Think about it. And you can deny it, you can disagree with me, but you're still going to be wrong, and you'll live a life of subpar quality. Simple as that, man. What sort of life do you want to live? All right? I ask you that question every day. And if it's something like I live, follow my advice. If it's not, if you want the opposite of what I'm doing, then do the opposite of what I'm doing.